everyone. Today we have Miss Andrews, the Social Studies Department Chair, with us to talk about the recent curriculum change. Thank you for being here, Miss Andrews.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so would you want to introduce yourself and maybe a little bit about what you do at school?
Sure. My name is Suzanne Andrews, and I am the department head for our wonderful Social Studies Department at New Milford High School. I've been at the high school now 18 years, and I love being there. We have a wonderful community, wonderful students. And my role basically is to lead our teachers to better educate and prepare our students for the future. And I love my job. I love the school, my students. It's a lot of fun, and we have a good time doing it.
That's amazing. So speaking about bettering the education, would you mind telling us more about the recent curriculum change happening?
Sure. So we decided that we wanted to change the 9th and 10th grade curriculum. Currently, we have 9th grade Development of Western Civ and 10th grade Global Studies. What we would like to do is change that 9th grade World History and 10th grade Modern World History. So what that means is we would have a broader view of history to present to our students rather than just being based on a Eurocentric viewpoint. We live in a global society today, and I think that that is incredibly important for students to really understand all of the different types of cultures and peoples all around the world. So that's going to be the first curriculum change. The second curriculum change, which I'm very excited about, is the offering of an African American / Latino studies course. This is a result of a law that was passed in Connecticut a couple of years ago. And it really came from the standpoint of college students who lobbied our policymakers to say we feel excluded from American history, and we want people to learn more about us rather than just that we were slaves or really not learn about us at all. So the law was passed that high schools have to offer it. Schools piloted it last year. And now this year we have to offer it per the law. So I'm hoping we get a bunch of students to sign up for it and experience this, because not only is it going to look at those cultures, from the viewpoint of the world, but also in Connecticut as well. So we're going to take a local lens to that as well.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So for the 9th and 10th grade curriculum change, what would those classes kind of entail? How are they? How does the information differ from the normal curriculum?
So I would like for those classes to mirror what we have in the Honors World History that we currently have, which leads into the AP World History. So right now, for example, the Western civilization that's being offered now just focuses on Europe, and that's it. Where this would have a focus on Asia, it would have a focus on Africa, Latin America. And I think that that's very important. It also kind of goes along with Brookfield and Danbury, who also have those same type of curriculums. It's just taking more of a world view on things and gives those students opportunities to understand them as well. And the 10th grade Modern World History, we would like for them to get into modern history as we have it now. So much has happened. The world has changed dramatically in just the past 30, 40 years alone. We would like to get to those things as well. Now we have currently the 10th grade Global Studies, but as I became department chair last year, I learned that we were not teaching, we were not getting to all of the units that were written in the curriculum. So we were not even doing certain areas of the world like Latin America. So I said, we're really doing a disservice to our students by excluding histories of different parts of the world. So the goal is to really include those histories or, touch on those histories, look at major themes throughout the world.
Mm-hmm. So about the African American and Latino studies, how does that class go about teaching those histories? Like, tell us about maybe what you're going to learn or what students will learn in those classes or that class.
Sure. So it was the recommendation of the state that students take the class after U.S. history. So it would be offered to 12th grade students. It's a year-long course, and the curriculum was actually written by the state.
Okay.
So the first semester would be African American Studies. The second semester would be Latino Studies. And the design is to look at having a world kind of view of both groups to begin with, and then look at some themes like revolution, political struggle, citizenship, human rights. And then we would come into Connecticut and see what type of focus we can put on our heritage here for African Americans and Latino Americans. The idea for African Americans was to not just focus on the slave history, although we will touch on it in this course. We also want to focus on wonderful things that African Americans have done in the United States. That also goes for Latino history as well. What contributions were made there. So it's learning the history, but also celebrating people and cultures, and just learning more about them, having more of a understanding, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
I recently learned about those changes, and I wouldn't even think that it entailed that much. And that's really amazing that you guys are doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you think this is going to impact students, especially people of color, students of color?
I think that it would give everyone a better understanding of of culture in a very diverse United States. Our last census that was just put out in the news last week, some of the results showed that we are even more diversified than we were before when I wrote these course proposals. So we have large percentages of African American population, a large percentage of Latino, Asian, etc. So I think it would give students more of an understanding of people's experiences, and then hopefully open a dialogue between everybody and saying, okay, let me learn a little bit about yours, or I learned this, what do you think about that, etc. So I'm hoping that it would just lead us to have better understanding between each other. I think that people can have probably viewpoints that they might not realize could be incorrect. Not that they're trying to do that on purpose. They just might have, assumptions about people. This hopefully will open up and have better understanding between all the groups involved.
That's amazing, yeah. Especially in such white town. This is such a great course change to offer, especially the 12th grade African American and Latino studies. That's really important because I remember being in school and I don't remember learning a lot about their history. So that's amazing.
And I'm hoping that it's not just African American students who take the course, or Latino American students. I hope a lot of students choose to take this and learn.
Mm-hmm. So that's amazing. So what do you want parents to know about their students' education now? What do you want them to maybe do in response to this with their students? Or?
Well, I hope that, first of all, parents would look at the program of studies with their child, just to educate themselves on what's out there. And I want parents to know that we are always reflecting on what we are teaching. We're always looking to see if we can do better for our students, because that's our number one priority. We want our students to be prepared for when they take that next step out into the post-secondary world, no matter what career they choose. We want them to have those skills and knowledge to contribute to our global society. It's not just that we live in New Milford or we're from the United States. We're very much part of a global society, and I want our students to leave us with the ability to be involved in that global society in an effective and a positive way. So we are always looking at that. We are always reviewing our practice. One of the exciting things that I'm looking forward to, in addition to all these changes, is our principal who's really asking us to reflect on our curriculums and see is where we want to go from here. Is what we've done in the past working? What changes need to be made? And just really be involved, make those working curriculums, live curriculums. I've always taught my students in U.S. history, for example, that the Constitution is a living document. Well, I want to have the same idea applied to our curriculum. Are they living documents? What are we teaching our kids, and is this the best thing we can be teaching, and how are we teaching that? So I want parents to understand that we are always trying to better ourselves and result in the betterment of our children, of our students.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's amazing, and I'm so glad that you have the support of the principal that we recently interviewed as well. We seem to be really wanting to better education for the town and for everyone here. So yeah, so for our final question, what do you hope for the future of history education here or like nationally or globally even?
Well, I hope that for history education that we drive home to students, parents, that history is very important to learn. I know that there are sayings out there, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. But I think for us to have a better understanding of who we are, we need to have an understanding of where we came from as well. So I really do hope that history education is relevant to young people so that they can learn and appreciate history. I know when I took history class in high school, I wasn't really interested in that at the time because it was just focused on name and dates, and I think I tell my own students this. And I hope that teachers of history do not approach it in that same manner because it loses so much, and to really emphasize how relevant the past is to our present and our future.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
So do you have any questions for me at this time?
No.
Okay,
I don't.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. That was a wonderful interview, and we're so happy that this change is being made, especially like in this town and at this time, definitely. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.